for my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Don't take the chance because you think you can. You're beautiful beyond compare. Takes more than beauty and seductive stares to come between a family and a happy man.
Welcome to episode number 167 of Cowboy Shit. I am one of your hosts, Dustin Edwards, and beside me,
The
of
lead
course,
host today.
the lead host today. I've taken over the reins. I've got the headphones on my head.
Yeah, it's a real deal, Dustin.
Riding shotgun as always, Mr. Ted Stovin.
Yeah, because I don't like to drive.
He doesn't like to drive. And today we're coming to you live from Keynote 1, 18 floors high above the city of Calgary.
What is that?
Whoa,
How do we get a thumbs down? We have some.
people are already,
We have gremlins in here.
we got a thumbs down on the screen.
That was weird.
We're 18 floors high above the Calgary streets.
City center.
City streets where things are warmed up. The bums are out and
Man.
about in full swing and enjoying the weather down there.
Jeez. Oh, that's a. Now I got a thumbs up.
There we go.
What is going on?
Oh,
Is this some sort of a background or something?
Just random thumbs up bubbles.
I don't know what's going on.
Might
Anyways,
be AI.
let's roll on.
Might be AI.
I'll let you know when one happens.
So we got an exciting show coming up later on that we'll talk about. We caught up
Yeah.
with Lee Olsen,
Yeah, and I gotta throw this in there too. Great job to Matt Schneider, Matt the intern,
Matt the intern.
who's no longer the intern. Matt jumped on from all the way out of Nova Scotia. Dustin, you were busy at your day job.
I was tardy for that one.
Yeah, but Matt jumped in. He did a really great job.
Yeah,
Co-host, helping like guest co-host with me for the day.
yeah, Matt. Don't try to outdo me again, son.
but
That's
he
it.
did a really good job
he's
filling in
awesome.
your absence. So it was
Yes.
great.
So
Did a
Matt,
good job.
Matt the non-intern,
They're no longer the
was
intern.
doing non-interny things and earning a paycheck and getting on the pod.
I gotta figure out what to call him now. He can't be Matt the intern anymore.
Yeah, I'll have to come up with a name for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, any ideas?
We'll work on it.
Okay.
Easter weekend. So as we
Yeah.
talk now, we've just celebrated Easter Sunday,
Yep.
and we had food aplenty here up at the Keynote One. Allie made us a
Fridge is full.
turkey, mashed potato, carrot, cream corn,
Ooh.
hot cross buns,
Ooh,
and cherry pie
homemade
for
buns,
dessert.
Allie? Oh no, she's
No, thank you to Safeway for the contribution. And it's funny because I said earlier, oh, what a classic
Thanksgiving
Thanks-
Easter.
Easter dinner. But I know sometimes I've said that in the past and people go, well, that's not like
It's not classic.
What we do something different. So what's your like classic
Oh,
holiday dinner?
classic holiday dinner. Well,
Or
it's like
Easter?
it's I don't know, it's whatever we decide. But this year it was brisket, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, no bacon,
BBB.
some potatoes, gravy, a salad
bread.
kit. Yeah, I hadn't cooked a brisket in a long time. The last brisket that I really remember cooking really well was with Monty Phillips at the house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we bought Monty a mattress that week, and because
What's his first ever mattress?
we were trying to, no, it was for our house,
No.
but we bought him a mattress so he'd have a place to sleep at our house, because we must have got cleaned out one time and we're low on mattresses, so we got Monty a mattress.
So
and he was set
mattress
up.
and some brisket.
And some brisket. He made a really good brisket though. That guy knows how to cook.
Brisket's an art form.
Oh,
And I feel like nowadays it's really getting elevated with like all these like smokers and guys
Yeah.
are putting them on for 5 days and
yeah,
they got Bluetooth digital
Yeah.
temperature readers and
on your
like
phone.
it's insanity. But
We did this when we put it at 8 o'clock at night the night before, and then took it out the next day at 2 p.m. We
That's
just had it
commitment.
kind of like going for like at like 175. I think it was like not perfect, like it was pretty good, but I think we could have used maybe like a couple hours less.
are people still deep frying the turkey?
10 hours worth. I don't know. I
That was
haven't
a
heard
big
about
craze.
that.
I remember being outside
Yeah.
at a buddy's and we were deep frying one of them turkeys and
But then
propane tank hooked up to a.
didn't somebody put one in frozen and they blew it up or something?
I think so.
Yeah, there was some bad stuff that
Between
went
the
down.
turkey deep fryers and those gopher killers, there was a lot of propane explosions going on. So transitioning from the transit. So we'd love to know what
From the
your
actual
actual meal is.
But yeah,
the
so
Easter
we had
treats.
the brisket.
Yeah.
What was that? Saturday, and then today we just had pork ribs. Like we had ribs and rice and ravioli. No,
Sticking with the alliteration.
ribs, rice, leftover broccoli and Brussels sprouts, and salad kit again.
Cool.
Pretty aggressive. It was
Well-
wonderful food. I like good food. It
Yeah,
was great.
But
weekend.
most importantly, if you can see it on the screen here, is this bag of diabetes at Ted's drop-off.
Diabetes.
I'm Dustin Edwards and I have diabetes. Well, I will after eating all this.
I've had way too many of these. I
That's
gotta get rid of them.
That was my Wilford Brimley impersonation.
Wilford
by the way.
Brimley,
I'm not poking fun. But what is your favorite Easter like treat?
Oh, it's these guys right here.
I'm
You
currently
discussed it into one.
I got
You got
Rolo.
Rolo. I got
Rolo egg.
mine have been caramel. The caramel that's been the go-to for me.
What were those ones that they got rid of now? Or is
And
this
the
still-
Reese's.
What are those little
Well,
crappy little yellow
Like
birds?
the cream eggs? Oh, you mean the mini eggs?
No. Peeps.
Oh, Peeps. What happened to the Peeps?
Didn't they get rid of those or are those still around?
I don't know. We didn't have any of those this time.
I seen a funny meme today. It was a picture of Jesus holding up a peep and it's like, I come back from life and this is how you celebrate. It's like a bag of peeps. It's a little shot at us, but
Oh dear.
I love the Cadbury mini eggs. That's
Yeah.
like the actual mini eggs.
Oh yeah, we had some of those. So Storm's mom, she's a baker and she made mini egg cheesecake, like little cups, like
Oh, yeah.
cheesecake cups with mini eggs in them.
Oh, sick.
It was awesome. They were great.
I would say if you polled anybody, I think mini eggs would be the top of the
Oh,
Easter desserts
probably.
for sure.
That's probably
Yeah.
very true.
So yeah, so there it is. There's your Easter dessert. I'm gonna go mini eggs. Ted, you're also going mini eggs?
No, I like
Oh, you like these ones?
I like the chocolate, whatever these
Oh, yeah.
chocolate things are.
Well, didn't Cadbury
Yeah.
used to have the really big egg?
Oh yeah, I think so. And then
Remember
like
the big egg, it was right full of the white stuff and the
the
cream.
cream egg thing.
cream egg. Yeah, cream egg.
Yeah, the cream egg.
Is that what those are? Mini
Some of
cream
those
egg?
are. Yeah.
Oh
some of
yeah,
are
those
cream
ones.
egg.
Yeah.
But I'm not so down with the cream eggs.
You're like in the caramel eggs.
Which one do you want, Allie? A cream egg? Here you go. Ready?
So
Hey,
we're
she
talking
caught
about
it.
food and snacks, and then we've got that cherry pie up on the counter still to eat
I
tonight.
can't have any.
Yes,
I'm OD.
my grandma made a great cherry pie yesterday, and
Your grandma works at Safeway.
we actually had a homemade one yesterday.
Oh, you were at home.
Yeah.
I forgot about
Yeah,
home.
grandma was off shift.
I'm sorry.
yesterday. So grandma made us a cherry pie. We actually had like a really random dinner. My sister's boyfriend made mac and cheese.
Was it
and-
elevated mac and cheese or was it KD? Mac and
Elevated. It was elevated.
Oh.
So it was like and like beef on a bun and ham. It was kind of random, but at the end of the day, it was good.
So what was the vegetable?
Cream
Can't say
corn,
mac and cheese.
cream
Mac
corn,
and cheese.
Caesar salad.
That's kind of a vegetable.
Yeah, it was kind of a mixed bag because like
Was it
we're all
potluck?
like different. No, it wasn't potluck.
Somebody
not-
made that as a menu?
Down at the trailer park, we had mac and cheese and Caesar salad
I'm
and
sorry, Allie.
ham. No, I'm actually
Might
this
be
is
somebody's
for
menu, I don't
real.
know.
I'm not.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, it's
Hopefully
your
my
sister.
family's not listening. Like
Oh, we're not. I'm not trying to offend anybody.
I'm
It's-
offending them.
Oh, okay. Sean, we can cut that part out if we have.
Well, no, but this is actually funny. So, my sister, if you listen to this ever, I don't know if she's ever listened, but I apologize. But I had this visual, like her boyfriend's got a really big beard, and he's like got the plaid shirt, the jeans, like he's a true farm boy from Big Valley, right? Like he's
Okay.
a farm boy.
Okay.
And I walked in the house, and he was cooking mac and cheese, and he had like brown leather gloves, like
What?
contractor gloves hanging out of his back pocket, and a chew can in the other, making mac and cheese. And I'm like, man, does it get any more hillbilly at Easter than this? If you're listening, I say it with all due respect.
Oh,
It was just a really funny visual.
that is funny, man. Oh, Lee. You know what else is funny? Probably the visual of us with this like power light thing on beside us in your windows, and the neighbors are probably like, "What are these?" guys
Well,
up
there's
to?"
another tower right beside us,
and one
and
not far away over there.
we can always see in the windows. And actually, see that one right there? That's a full-on
There's a
grow up.
plant.
That's
yeah.
a grow up.
Yeah, they're growing like
Yeah,
basil
there's-
though, and
Well,
like
we think,
there doesn't look like marijuana over there.
but everyone
legal
can,
now,
you
though.
can see, and like we can, like right now, we can look into how many different people's units.
Any weird stuff you see in the units?
Haven't seen anything weird yet.
They've seen you naked for sure.
Yeah,
Oh dear.
but they're probably wondering what we're up to.
I always got to look out the window when I'm walking out to the kitchen in the mornings. Like make sure Storm closed the window to the street.
So that people can't see your hang down.
Yeah, but one time the other day though, I walked out there and I looked over, so I was like, oh shit, there's somebody walking by. Luckily they didn't look inside, but like
Yeah.
they're fully naked and somebody was walking by on the street and the window's wide open.
Did you give him a show? Give him a little twirl?
No, luckily,
Twirl
luckily,
and dip.
luckily they didn't look over at it and I caught myself early enough. But
Well, it's funny because we've been out in the country,
I don't
and
think
now all of a
it
sudden
doesn't
we're
matter.
here, and I'm used to just letting her hang.
It's not like they could see anything from over here anyways.
No. Is that a
Huh?
Is that a size
No,
joke, Ted?
It wasn't a size joke.
Keep the size jokes off the
It
pod.
could be.
This thing's really derailed here tonight.
Man, but Easter, but
yeah.
tell us what your Easter candies are. Like I gotta say, I used to like the like pure chocolate bunny, like the
Oh, I
you
remember
know,
how
like
bad they were.
there were some bad ones,
Just-
there's some okay ones.
But I remember the ones that had that little,
They're, like,
remember
so
the little candy
chalky.
eyeball?
Oh yeah.
And you'd peel the eyeball off and you have just a straight brick of chocolate.
Yeah.
I see them around still at like Dollarama and Walmart.
Yeah.
And it's just like this big old brick of chocolate.
Yeah.
And then I like the white ones, the pure white
Yeah, I
ones.
do like
Love
white
the white chocolate.
White chocolate.
My nephew, he's a little garburator. We bought him a chocolate bunny yesterday for Easter, a Smartie one.
Oh wow.
And he ripped the tinfoil off of it, and before supper, he dusted the whole thing, like bit the head off, and just went to town.
Ate the whole thing?
Ate the whole thing
Before supper or after supper?
before supper.
Uh-oh.
But
man, there's a Smarties egg
yeah,
here.
there was those inside of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I think
that's probably why my guts turned over when I got
totally.
to the house.
Yeah,
Had
yeah.
to be sugar egg.
yeah.
And
Teddy had to head down to floor 2,
yeah, I didn't want to destroy
the
Dustin
condo.
Alley's condo because it probably stinks up the whole place in here too.
Yeah,
It wouldn't have been good.
yeah. So thank you for doing that. Man, we are having a Sunday night on the show today, folks.
Let's get to the show.
Yeah, great show.
Let's get to the show. Yeah. So Lee Olsen, I met Lee at Justin McKee's broadcast clinic back in January. We really got to be friends when I was trying to rope McKee's dummy in the studio at the Cowboy Channel Studios. He had a roping dummy and a rope there. And Lee saw me trying to rope this thing. He's like, "Dude, you like stop. Like, I gotta help you here." So he like broke down a few things and showed me how to rope. Like I've never had anyone actually show me how to rope before. Like I don't know what I'm doing.
I mean, you've
I'm not
been in
a
a few
roper.
jackpots.
Well, only at
Up
bull
north.
riders only.
Yeah.
Yeah, bull rider roping jackpots. But yeah, like we kind of like connected there and then connected a few other times over it was only like 2.5 days, but we got to be buddies there and knew some of the same people and then connected and yeah, we got him on a show. He's huge though in the farrier world. So if you know anything about farriers or like if you want to know anything about farrier work with your horses, Lee's got to be one of the biggest resources I think online. From what I didn't look at anybody and a lot of other folks in the business, but I mean like huge resource. So hope you enjoy the show.
Yeah, and since I'm the head host, I'm gonna cue it up.
Do it.
Here's the show with today's guest, Lee Olsen.
All right, this week on the show, he's a hoof care specialist that helps equine athletes achieve and maintain peak performance through therapeutic shoeing and equipping horse owners and farriers with valuable educational resources. It's his passion to equip horse owners and farriers with the valuable hoof care skills and knowledge. He's from Olsen Equine. He's one of the most, if not the most, influential farriers in the business. Over 27,000 subscribers on YouTube. Over 11 million views on his videos there. You can find him at olsenequine.com. Please welcome to the show, Lee Olsen.
Howdy. How's it going?
Hey, we're doing good, Lee. I'm glad we met back in Fort Worth at the end of January, and I'm looking forward to the show today. I've done a lot of homework trying to think about what to ask you today and the different ways we can go. But I think the big story here, and you've talked about it lots in other different shows, so we don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but you changed your business model, and you actually have a podcast that you released a while ago called Raising Your Prices with Zero Risk. So we can spend some time on that. But tell us, you went from a traveling farrier, like I think, 99.9% of farriers, how they operate as a single person, kind of single entrepreneur, that way to where now people bring their horses to you and you travel a little bit probably to shoe, but talk about that. Spend some time on that to start us off here.
Yeah. So my business was your typical business, where the farrier runs around, comes to your house, does your horses, and all is well. Well, I got some good advice from my uncle, who's a retired stockbroker, and my mentor, Grant Moon from England, and ended up making some changes to be short in my business. And it ultimately resulted in growing into a haul-in practice and First off, it started with, instead of the basics is, instead of saying no to everybody because I was full. I don't know why farriers are so proud to say they're full. Like, that's nothing to be proud of. It could be full of bad clients. So I said yes, but if you can bring them to me. And then we were busy one day a week, or one afternoon, then one day, then 2 days, and 3 days. And then for a long time, I left one big account to where we traveled to. But to be honest, I could have switched a long time before that. And I would highly advise everybody to doing that if you're a hoof care provider. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a fancy place when you start. And the biggest misconception I see is people come here and they see this amazing shop, as you can see in the background. It's awesome. It's got climate controlled, it's spray foamed, individual stalls, lights everywhere, waiting room and all that. Forges are in the wall. But how I started was just in the aisle of my horse barn. And you could, if you don't have a barn, you could have people meet you at a vet. So anyway, that's how that kind of got going.
But not everybody in the farrier world is maybe willing to set up shop in one place. Maybe some people like to travel. It's not for everyone though. And for you, it's still not just you. You have a whole crew and you have an apprentice program and you have clinics and training, but there's a lot to this.
Yeah. So you don't have to look far in my story to realize that I'm pretty blessed and by God. And I feel like a lot of these ideas were a gift from him, because how my apprenticeship evolved is I got really sick of people working for me long enough to go out on their own, make both of us look bad, and hurt horses. I love horses. I don't know that I've made any, but not a lot anyway, of money without it being linked to a horse somewhere. So growing up ranching in South Dakota, I've been around them since I was in diapers. So I've got a lot of respect for that. And plus, whenever your reputation is struggling from someone who used to work for you, then that ain't going to work. So I just said, I remember being pretty upset. The straw that broke the camel's back, this last guy, I said, that's it. I said, it's 4 years or nothing. And I kind of modeled it after college, and then kind of modeled it after in England. They have an apprenticeship program there. It's actually illegal to shoe your own horse if you're not certified, and you have to be in an apprenticeship for 4 years, I think, and then you have to pass the test, and it's very government regulated.
Really? I had no idea about that. That's wild. So and I didn't realize you said Grant Moon. He's from over there too?
Mm-hmm. Yep, he's from England. He's arguably one of the best that's ever lived.
And how did you get acquainted with him?
Well, so like I grew up in South Dakota on a reservation in western South Dakota, fourth poorest county in America, and just a ranching community. Well, when I moved to my wife and I moved to Texas in 2010, and we were just doing whatever we could to make it. We didn't have much of anything. And she is a nurse, graduated as a nurse, Jamie Olsen, and she got a job right away. And I was shoeing a little bit, but not much. I had a bucket. I carried my tools in because I went to a 1-week class to learn how to shoe my own horses. And I was training horses, and I'd rodeoed a lot, just kind of trying to make it. And while my family went in and paid for me for my Christmas and birthday present, everybody went in and paid for me to go to the International Hoof Care Summit in Cincinnati, Ohio. So when I went there, I met Grant Moon, and he's everywhere. There's a lot of different ways that you can validate who knows what they're doing and who doesn't in the shoeing world, because it's kind of like the Wild West. Like, you can just do whatever you want to do. There's no regulation. Well, in all circles, he's arguably the best. He's like a 6-time world champion blacksmith, so he checks that box. But then he's also worked on some of the craziest things there is. And so he's like glue-on handmade shoes, regular shoes, whatever, done thousands of clinics. So anyways, I get to know him. So then, long story longer, I guess, I built up this shoeing business in Stephenville, Texas, and just built off of me showing up with a smile, doing what I say I'm going to do, and knowing horses and not much about shoeing. And no one would pay me more than $90 or $100. Well, I wanted to charge more. Nobody'd pay me more. So I went through certification thinking that if I got certified, then people would have to pay me more because I'd be certified. So what a moron I was. But
So that didn't work.
I went to, yeah, crash and burn. Well, I went to certification and found out that I sucked. And it made me so mad. I mean, I was so embarrassed and mad. And because I thought I knew everything that I was doing, because I was shoeing some pretty nice horses. And I always roped it, not always, but I roped at a pretty high level. And so you just assume that you're good at this other stuff too. Well, you go to certification, then you fail, then you find out you don't know that much. And it lit a fire inside of me that still hasn't gone out. And just the fear of not knowing what you don't know is so dangerous and toxic too. So I really got into it. I sidelined roping for a couple years, and I went to 11 clinics that next year. I paid Grant Moon personally to come over to my house. And it started off like I just hosted him, and then I hired or got other people to come and split the cost up. Well, then I was getting so much value out of it that it was just simply private, just for me and my guys. And through all that, I think he came 6 times or something that first year, maybe the first 2 years. Anyway, he was here a lot, and we ultimately became really great friends. And we just kind of call to visit and stuff now. And he's been huge, and he's such a great man. So a lot of respect for him.
You mentioned crazy things, but I'm assuming those are probably some horses of the Royals in the UK. And like, if he's one of the best in the world, he's probably in their barns and probably in some pretty wild places in maybe in like around Dubai with their race horses and stuff. Like, I'm just assuming here, but there's probably way other wilder stuff too. But
you didn't? Did you research him at all?
I didn't. I needed to, but I missed that part. So tell me more about him.
Oh, he's he's funny. He goes all over. A lot of people hire him to. A lot of people with money will hire him to come in and just fix problems or educate their team. So he goes to Dubai and does the Sheikh's horses and trains their guys. And like, he goes all over. Like, one lady in Kentucky paid him $5,000 to come there for an afternoon and shoe one horse.
What?
Yeah. So, but that's kind of the thought process, like higher education is a way of life. It's a thought process, and he's got it. And like, he sent me one before I get into this. When he was helping me with changing my business, he's like, charge them until you like them kind of mentality. Like, you're going to have to fire my butt is what he would always say. Like, he's not firing anybody. Like, he's going to keep raising their prices and raising their prices. And I mean, that sounds bad, but everyone has a priority in their business. And if you're the lowest paying client, I don't care how close you are with them, your priority is slipping.
But we can go back to Grant in a second, but we better tell this story about the raising your prices for zero risk. You did like an 11-minute talk on it. So just give us maybe the 3-minute talk about raising your prices and looking after your A clients and slowly kind of firing your D clients, but leaving space open to add more A clients.
Oh man. Yeah. So I really think this applies to everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a horseshoer, horse trainer, carpenter, anything. So everybody has a book of business. And I learned this from my uncle, who is a retired stockbroker, Erdine Olsen. And he was always really good at talking numbers with me from a young age. And he highly discouraged rodeo too, because he just told me, he's like, Lee, I make more every single year than the people do that were in the top 3 in the world. And they didn't net that much. And then he instilled the big difference between net and gross, right? So just that thought process. And what he would say is that we're all the same. We're all wanting this cream of the crop. We all want the best clients that you can get. Well, the problem is that the bottom 20% of your business takes most of your time and makes the least money. So just categorize your business into A, B, C, and D, and just cut the D's, he said. Just get rid of them. If it makes you feel better, give them to somebody else. But the fact is that they're a drain on you, and it needs to leave room for getting better clients. And then at that same time, Grant Moon was helping me, and he goes, "What do you want?" I said, "Well, I want my business to have big cutting accounts in it, because there's a lot of trims, there's a lot of profit there, and I dang sure don't want that now, but I did then, and I got it too." But he looked at my book and he said, "Where are you going to put it? You're full literally every day." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, these people are going to want in right away when they call." He goes, so he told me I need to make some room. So what I did is I took from the advice from my uncle or Dean, the A, B, C, and D. Instead of cutting the D's, I raised the D's. Well, if I'm talking like a 20 to 40% raise. So if you're paying 20 to 40% more, you're no longer a D. You're probably more like a B client. So, and I don't feel bad saying that. I know that sounds like a prick, but if I can make more money in a shorter amount of time and get home to my family sooner, that my kids are going to like that. My family's going to like that. That's a huge win. And I think that should be all of our goal, is to get to spend more time with our family. Or if you're single, maybe your hobbies or whatever you want to do that grows your soul, and it'll be inspirational instead of just dreading going to your job. So that was kind of the short version on that.
And from there, though, you took it and built a team. And we were talking earlier about how now you've removed yourself from a lot of parts of it, where you and Jamie and the kids can go rodeoing. And I was talking with Justin this morning, and he said she won 2 in Florida this last weekend. So things are looking up for her too.
Yeah. So I don't mean to make this all about the same thing about God, but there was the reason why we're rodeoing is because Jamie never really got to, like, when she grew up, her parents grew up poor too, and they worked really hard. Her mom's a vet, and her dad has always worked hard and came from nothing, both of them. And well, they couldn't afford to have the horsepower it takes to have a nice barrel horse. Jamie trained her own horse and made the Little Britches finals on a horse that she trained in a bunch of events, and then made the high school finals and nearly made the college finals breakaway roping, but never had the horsepower to have a really nice barrel horse. So she just kind of gave up on it, and because you had to. I mean, I didn't have anything either. And so she became a nurse, and then she bought another barrel horse cheap and fixed it up, and it was a pretty nice horse. And she sold that horse to pay for nurse practitioner school. In the meantime, we've had 2 kids. They're 10 and 4 now. And not going to lie, I probably acted like a kid a lot too. So she had a lot to take care of, right? So she never really got to. Well, as she's pregnant with our second son, I'm shoeing in the horse barn at this time. And this client comes in, and this horse is absolutely gorgeous. I said, "This horse?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "How's it bred?" "Perfect for barrels. How about that?" So I looked at that. I was like, "Huh, nice. What do you want for it?" She said, $9,000.
She went and wrote her a check.
I said, "Okay, I'd like to ride it." She goes, "Okay, yeah, just let me know when you want to ride it." I said, "I want to ride it right now." So I went and rode it, and Jamie is as big as a house right now. She's super pregnant, right? She ain't riding it. And we've always kind of bought and sold horses a little bit, not a lot, but some. Training horses has always been a backbone of my life. And I ride this horse around, and she kind of like had a crust on her, like she was sassy, didn't have a lot of respect. Like she walked right into the fence because she was just trying to graze and didn't listen to me the first. And then she kind of tried to hump up a little bit. And I got after her just a little bit, like, hey, quit your stuff right now. Pay attention. And then all of a sudden she just turns into this other beast. And she's like, yes, sir. And this 15-2 barrel horse goes to dragging her butt and spinning both ways. And I'm like, this is a horse. Like, like when you sit down and you just kind of squeeze your butt cheeks together and you don't even touch their head. And it's like they hit the engine brake on, just like just that's this horse. So I told Jamie, I said, I don't know if this is a barrel horse or not, but this is a head horse. I'll promise you that. So we bought her. And the short version is this horse missed its entire futurity year because it wasn't ever just quite right. And turns out that was some shoeing stuff. And we got that figured out. And that horse ended up being an amazing barrel horse and still is. And last year we actually turned down $350,000 for.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So Jamie didn't he literally sold her barrel saddles and everything. And she ended up getting back into it. And so, we didn't sell it because she didn't like the saddles. We sold it because we needed money. Right. And so she gets kind of into the rodeo thing, starts going a little bit, and then she fills her permit right away. And then things are working and starts winning rodeos, not placing at them, winning them. So it's like, wow, well, maybe we should do this. So I feel like that horse was a huge gift from God. So then it comes along the time where it's like, hey, we need a backup horse. Well, in the barrel horse world, like 40,000 doesn't buy you anything. Like blown up junk, wrecked futurity horses, maybe. Like barrel horses are expensive. Oof. So we can't find anything, but we need a backup horse. So my friend, who's a rancher, like a legit rancher, not like gonna go check the 10 acres out back, like real ranching, horse in the trailer with the calves kind of thing. And he had this horse and he wanted to sell it, but he wanted 50,000 for this horse. And it was a rope horse, mainly head heel horse, really nice. But who's going to give that for a ranch horse, rope horse, right? So nobody bought it, right? So I was like, well, I've told them the whole time, I said, you need to run barrels on that horse. And they sent her to somebody for that horse to somebody for a few months, but wouldn't pay to keep going. And when I saw that, I said, that's a freak right there. I said, we need to go try that horse. So we went and got him. He looked like a broodmare. He's been in the pasture, no blanket, no grain, no feed, just pasture. So we take him and we start riding him. And he was like, I'm thinking, man, this sucker's gifted, very gifted. He could just do things like I'll bet you this horse could stay in a lope in a horse stall. Like, you know what I mean? Just a freak. And I said, hey, how's this horse bred again? He goes, oh, nothing special, just a daughter of Royal Quick Dash. But, hey, send me the papers anyway, would you? So he sends me the papers, and he is by PC Frenchman, who is a full brother to De Niro, which all in all makes this horse like somewhere between like, I don't know, don't hold me to this, but somewhere around like a 3/4 sibling to Haley Kinsel's sister.
Oh, no
sister.
way. Holy shit.
Yeah. So, there's a reason this horse is a freak. And like, he didn't even really know what he was doing. He was just kind of started when we got him. He had a few months on him. And a few months later, Jamie won around in Cheyenne on him. Like
last summer.
Yeah. So that's just a huge, huge blessing having that horse. He's amazing. And, yeah, we already talked a little bit about money. We turned down $250 for him last year.
Oh,
and I really think all those numbers could double if she did make the NFR, but it's not about money. It's about that Jamie never had the opportunity. And we're spending more than we're making, if you really want to know. Like, it costs so much to rodeo. And
especially with 4 of you on the road.
Yeah. Well, you think about it and you're like, well, this is a poor investment. And I'm all about making smart decisions. But at the same time, like, money doesn't control me at all. Like, we don't have a lot of money, but we make a lot of money in our business. But like, I think of money as like Monopoly. Like, you don't control me. I don't worship you. Like, we make enough money to do the things that we want, and that's it. And I think that if you want to ruin your kids, give them a bunch of money young, especially young. Like, I've seen that ruin so many people. So when my kids look back, you know, they're not going to get gifted a lot of money, probably, but they will know that mom was a beast and that we tried hard at what we do. And ultimately, I'm trying to teach them how to fish, but I'm not giving them fish.
You can't.
So another thing happened. Okay. So, Jamie, saw this horse one time, and it was a few years ago, and she was just drooling over this horse, like just amazing, did this freakish stuff, like just so fast. And just a daughter of Frenchman's guy out of Bottom Side's good too. Just amazing. Right. Well, that horse sold for a lot of money. And there's like, I was just like, honey, we can't afford horses like that. And she goes, I know. She goes, but that horse is awesome. Well, 2 years later, nearly, which puts us back like right at 1 year ago now, this horse walks in my shop and we shoe it. And I said, whatever, these people were buying it. And then I tell Jamie about it. She's like, no way. I said, yeah, these people just bought that horse. So then the next time that horse walked in our barn again. And we asked if they mentioned it was for sale. So we went and looked at it, and this horse had a lot of issues. And like it would turn before the barrel, ducking, which is one of the worst things there is because you can't trust them. It's like it's a bad thing, and didn't want to go in the gate. And but anyway, Jamie worked with her, and this horse has come a long ways, and
So
it's a
you
really
guys buy
nice
the horse?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, we ended up buying the horse
From the second buy, like the first buyer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And man, what a blessing. Like that is the horse that we just took to Florida and won both rounds went to 2 rodeos, won them both. And Jamie placed in Rapid City, placed in the semifinals in Denver, and won some out of San Antonio. Like this horse is a freak if you watch her. Like just unexplainable how fast her barrels are. And I really think that was another blessing from God. Like, how do you explain that? Like, she doesn't do that with a lot of horses either. Like, she just singled that one out, and then it walks in our shop and it's for sale. So that was pretty awesome.
Okay, now I got to ask about the barrel racing side of things, because I saw a post you had, and for all the barrel racers in the world, there's probably a lot of opinions on the best shoeing techniques for barrel horses.
Right.
But you had one suggestion that you made. It probably depends on every horse, but you had one that you made with some specific pieces.
Barrel racers are just humans, right? So we're always going to want to do whatever is working, whatever's winning, right? Well, the problem is like that doesn't always apply to your horse. Your horse is an individual, just like you and I are individuals. So those decisions need to be made on your individual horse. But here's what I would leave you with. We've shot some of the best in the world, barrel horses, and they all have the same similarities. It's just shoeing horses. They all have the same needs as a dressage horse has, or as the whatever industry has. That's just hoof care. That's just good shoeing. So when it comes to job specific differences, you're talking about traction, you're talking about slide, you're talking about this or that. Barrel horses, you should always be right in kind of middle ground, and you can lessen the traction or raise the traction. But if you have to put a lot of traction on a barrel horse, you are risking a lot. So the last thing I want to do is jump up there. So I would highly encourage like a St. Croix, a Venter, or they have a cool remake of that shoe that came out called an Aventer Plus. And it's just right in the middle. It's got traction through the toe and flat through the heels. So if you go to jumping up to, say, a light rims next, which is fine if you need it, a lot of horses don't, or a flat shoe, which is less traction. But if you go all the way up to concave, and then they make even more aggressive called a sidewinder and all this crazy stuff. If it sounds like a gimmick, it's a gimmick. And if it's got the chance to really help, it's probably got the chance to really hurt. So if you're going to send in this 1,200-pound animal going as fast as it can to turn in the ground, and if that foot hangs up a little too long, you are going to tear that sucker apart. And I've seen it happen in our business. And it's sad, really, because what happens is that lack of riding is usually why you need a lot of traction. And I'm sorry if that triggered you or offended you, but when
Sorry,
people
Karen.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't like to make people feel bad. I want to make them feel good. But right now I'm speaking for your horse. Like, stick with me here. Watch your videos. If your horse is leaning really far, you're putting all the pressure on one certain limb. Well, now that one certain limb has 1,200 pounds on it. Actually, I think with the force, it's more than that. So it's going to slip. The horse doesn't need traction. He needs stood up. He needs to be more on his butt, less on his front end. It's the same in every event. That's why dressage riders are so after getting them off the forehand, meaning getting them on their butt and elevate their front end. So watch your videos. If your horse is spread out and ducking, I'm guessing you have traction troubles. And if you want to test my theory, go ask some of the greatest horsemen there is in whatever discipline you want. Most of those don't need any gimmicks, don't need any traction.
So now I want to ask, and Matt, jump in here if you got something you want to throw in.
Yeah, I got a couple things actually that I'm pretty curious about.
Okay, go ahead.
One of which is your philosophy, and I found this quote on your website, which is, "I believe barefoot is the best way to go if your horse can handle it." And I thought that was really interesting coming from a farrier, where you'd think that's kind of a bit of a conflict of interest. So I was just wondering if you could sort of flesh that out, and maybe what does that look like? Do you see a lot of other farriers who aren't as good at the job, who are pushing certain things that are clearly bad for a horse?
Well, I think one, if you're pushing anything, you're probably making it about you and less about the horse. So if you're a farrier and you spend more time worrying about what the horse needs, everything's going to be okay. So the more you learn about the horse, the more the hoof capsule was designed to be barefoot. I mean, these horses, they're all doing jobs they're not supposed to do. These horses were designed to be running around being wild horses. The problem is that we have distorted these horses so bad with our bloodlines by breeding, say, like pain horses. They get such a bad name because they just got bred for color. Well, what's the first thing you do if you've got this high performance mare that's amazing but goes crippled? You're going to breed her. Well, what if the reason she went crippled was due to her conformation, right? So now you're just creating more and more and more problems. So getting back to that, horses were designed to be barefoot. The problem with barefoot is that everybody wants to compare barefoot trimming to the wild horses. Well, it worked on all the wild horses because if you look at wild horses, their feet are amazing. They're not like kind of good. They're amazing. The reason is because every horse from now clear back to Jesus's donkey with bad feet died. That's how that works. Seriously.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at a horse and you see these just feet that look like throw up, you're like, oh, we need to shoe him. Well, maybe you do. But all of our crazy shoeing that you see, it's designed to mimic the barefoot function. It could be looked at as a prosthetic, actually, to make the horse feel like it's barefoot, making up for the problems in the hoof. Because when you put a shoe on a horse, this is what the inside looks like. So if you put a shoe on the bottom, now you just made the frog right here even farther from the ground. Okay. So now the frog is even farther from the ground. So what happens is the back half of the foot falls through the shoe. So this is like the shoe here. So now the frog falls through the shoe. Now you get underrun heels and collapsed feet. So pretty much everybody that knows horses has seen a horse with long toes, low heels. Well, the reason why is because the heels are being shoved up into the foot, and then you've created heel pain. And that's what most of the horses that get called for navicular, they have heel pain. Like navicular is just the navicular bone, which is right here. Oh, right there. So the deep flexor runs around behind it right there. So the lower it gets, the more it pushes on the navicular bone. So getting back to my point of, if it doesn't look right, it's not right. Like, that's why. It's because the lower the foot gets, the more pressure it puts on areas that it wasn't designed to take. So when you, yeah. Does that make sense? Like the back half of the foot is a shock absorber, and the front half of the foot is supported by bone. So,
that makes a lot of sense. And I guess
sorry,
how much of your work then do you think is you kind of solving errors of previous farriers who have sort of things like instances like that where long-term sustained wrong treatment has been given to them?
Honestly, the majority of the ones of the problem horses, and I really don't think that people set out to hurt horses. Like, you can ask anybody who's ever worked with me. Like, one of my main things is I never ever bash the person before me, because one, it's bad form anyway. You'll never look good making someone else look bad. Truly believe in that. But most of these horses' problem is that it's conformation that's killing them, like I was talking about, that we're breeding for. Did the other farrier ruin them? Maybe, maybe not. But I promise you, this guy didn't set out to ruin them. He might have not realized this horse needed something different. But yes, to answer your question, the majority of the time, something a little better might have been done to get this horse here. The thing is that it takes 8 months to a year to grow a hoof capsule. So it doesn't happen right away. Like, you can wreck the feet with this terrible shoeing for 2 or 3 times, and the foot's pretty resilient. And so it can take it for a while. And that's why you get away with such bad shoeing. Like where I grew up in South Dakota, that whole area up there, they only shoe their horses, Canada too. They only shoe their horses a couple times a year. So that horse spends the majority of the time barefoot. And I always say going barefoot is like hitting the reset button. It just kind of lets everything expand and go back to normal. So does that make sense?
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's what we do actually. We play polo, so in the wintertime we just kick them out in the winter and we shoe them 3 times a year. They get their shoes done and they're on bare feet for the rest of the year. And I guess, as a horse owner, one of the things we sometimes hear from farriers, and there's not always a ton of options, but the horse may be lame for a couple days, or they're going to need to get used to it and that kind of thing. And it's always kind of been a pet peeve of mine in a sense, because I'm like, why is this horse getting hurt? And I guess I'm just asking you from the ignorance of knowing a lot about shoeing. Is that normal, or is that a little bit of a concern?
So you're saying they're saying it's okay if your horse is lame for a few days after shoeing?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I've heard all that, and I've also heard, like, if they're not a little sore after you shot them, then you didn't take enough foot off.
That scares me a bit.
I think that's the dumbest, up there with the dumbest things I've ever heard. I feel like the whole job title is to do no harm, to help. And one thing I learned shoeing futurity horses, we did a lot of rein cow horses, a lot of cutting horses for many years. And what I learned in that is the importance of never having a bad day. So what I ended up doing is not trimming them so short. I leave them a little longer than some people do. And the reason is because you can ride them just as soon as I get out of the way. And if you're trying to train a horse and you have to take a week off, that's huge. Absolutely huge. Like you just ruin their chances of doing anything. So, and plus you don't want to cause harm. So, and I'm not telling you to leave everything long. That's not an excuse, but just that's why we shoe everything at 5 weeks instead of 6 or 8 weeks. And if you're trying to shoe them at 8 weeks, I don't care how you live, where you live. I don't care how that foot grows. That's not right. Like, unless you're just out there bouncing a ball beside them in your pasture or something, that ain't going to work. Like if you're a speed event, that ain't going to work. That's why they shoe for every 4 weeks on the racetrack. Length is leverage. Horses grow out of balance, not in balance. So from the time that you shoe them, when you set that foot down, every minute, every day, it's getting a little less desirable. So sooner you can get back to it, the less chance you have of injury, failure, or the whole thing with these horses is like the straw that broke the camel's back. Most of the injuries are repetitive strain injuries, meaning it's not this catastrophic event, stepped in a hole type of thing. It's abusing that. Just like every farrier out there, the majority of them have bad backs. Why? Because they're farriers, because they bend over. Well, it's the same way with a stopping horse getting sore hocks. So the whole thing is, that's why I say horse owners should get at least annual x-rays and have just a lameness exam done on their horse to stop problems proactively before they're big problems.
I know you talked a bit on the NFR Extra about this, and you mentioned podcasting. You mentioned it a bit before, but when you were first starting out, you were saying, I know the exact quote from the podcast was just enough to be dangerous. I was wondering how that kind of thought process, how pervasive is that throughout the industry or with up and coming farriers?
Man, it's huge. It's huge. The problem is like there's no regulation, and I'm not encouraging regulation because it seems like anything in America anyway that the government has touched is just turned to crap anyway. So I don't know why we'd want to do that, but the point of it would be it would stop horses from being hurt from people that aren't qualified, because people buy a horse and then they treat them like a pet or whatever you want to do. Well, maybe it was a free horse. Maybe it was a $500 horse. Well, you charge what to trim them? No, I just won't trim them. Well, then you don't deserve to own a horse. If you're bargain shopping, that horse would be better off without you, because if he was out there on his own, traveling, breaking his own feet up, he would do a better job. So I don't know. I just kind of pet peeve when horse owners do things on a budget. And I get it. I've been on a budget. I've been poor too. But if things are that bad, then don't own horses, because what would happen is there would be no room for the person that was like I used to be. There would only be highly skilled tradesmen working on horses. And you'll never see me making fun of people online. Like, I just try to encourage them and help them, because I've been where they are. I've been that guy. But the thing is that I've hurt a lot of horses along the way with good intentions, thinking I was doing a good job. Where if I was in a long-term apprenticeship program like mine, or I'm just saying mine as an example. That's all I'm saying. So, or England, the reason why they do that is because these guys like mine and their low 20s are legit. They've seen every problem that you can have on in hoof care, and they know how to handle it. So now you've done the biggest service to the horse there is by educating farriers.
Lee,
Very interesting.
let's talk about your rodeo rig though. That you got a pretty fancy rodeo rig. I know we got off on that. We talked about it a little while ago, but you made this crazy rig that's like a motorhome slash horse trailer. So I don't even know how to describe it, but you have basically a motorhome and horses on the back.
Yeah. So I'd tell you to go look it up, but honestly, I don't advertise it much. I kind of hide it just because I don't want people to think that I'm like trying to look important or be important or something. That thing, first off, what is it? It's an equine motor coach. So if you're listening to this, just Google equine motor coach. So ultimately, it's an RV that you load horses in the back. What it is it's a toy hauler that people converted into a 4-horse reverse load where you lead the horses in, and it's got dividers and mangers, and it's got a hay pod that comes up and down like an elevator in it, and it's pretty sweet. But there's no trailer, and the biggest reason why we got it is because the kids didn't want to go. Our oldest son would do anything but go. And you got to remember, we go to 100 rodeos per year. The last 2 years, we went to 100 rodeos each year. That thing actually gets around really well. I mean, I've taken it to Chick-fil-A before.
You taking it through the drive-through?
Not the drive-through, but to their. Yep, that one was mine right before there. The red one.
Right here?
Yep.
Really?
That's it. Yep.
Pretty sweet rig though for 4 of you getting down the road.
Too. Yeah, so it's pretty awesome, really. And so
hence why you're
I
not
don't
making
know.
money rodeoing, because you got one of those.
Well, see, that's the funny thing. So the biggest thing. All right, we already talking about money, I guess. So that thing cost $350,000.
Cool.
Does that sound like a lot?
It's more than I
Yes.
paid for my house.
Right, but if you're going to rodeo, like every pickup that you're going to buy, a truck, as you Canadians say, and Texans, but truck is going to cost you $100,000, and all that is a dually. So you're going to get a living quarters horse trailer, and we've had several, and that's going to be. The ones that we had before were like $120,000 one. So, but a nice one, new one, is going to be around 200,000, right? Well, now you're up around 300,000. That truck is going to lose at least 20,000 a year if you're driving 50,000 miles like we are, at least. So now this has a chance of holding its value because we bought it with 10 years old with 50,000 miles on it. And they're like 800,000 new. So I think mine's going to hold money, and I think that pickup's going to lose money. And at the end of the day, yeah, that's what I tell myself. You can rationalize anything. That's what my dad would always tell me. You can rationalize yourself. You can rationalize anything and always talk yourself into buying something nice.
That's true. Very true.
But the fact is that we're not doing this to make money. The fact is we're doing this so Jamie to reach your goals, and we're doing it as a family because when I first the reason why most of our clients are good with us, with me being gone, is because that's what I did the first year. I probably lost 30% of my business because I wasn't there. But I wasn't gonna be one of the people that rodeo had split up their family, because it happens a lot. And I said, it ain't gonna be mine. So I went, and I didn't leave my clientele in bad hands. My guys are legit. Like, they know exactly what they're doing. I've trained them for 4 and 5 years. And there's 4 of them now. So I left and I lost 30% of my business. But the fact is that they're good with it because they have to be. And the way that why we have this is because, can you imagine being 2 years old like Eli was, my youngest son, and being in the back seat in a car seat for 50,000 miles and 100 rodeos? Ugh. Like, he's a sweet boy. But the last rodeo we went to that year, we were putting him in his car seat, and I'm putting him in, latching him in, and he slowly turns his head and looks at me, and he goes, "I want to be there."
He hadn't even left yet. Oh man. So has Jamie won? Did she win most of her money just this last weekend, or is this 6,000 I'm seeing in the standings? Is that from before Florida run?
That was before Florida, and she won like 9,500 in Florida.
Holy, she's gonna be top 15 now.
Yeah, so hopefully that's good. She
Holy
missed making it back at San Antonio by $500 too.
No way.
that kind of sucked. But she got into Austin, and that mare, she loves little pins. You should research that run, that, or one of her runs. That mare is crazy.
How do I find one? I can just look it up right now. We can watch it back.
Well, you could look it up on Facebook. Can you look it up on there?
Yeah, probably.
Just go to Lee Olsen or Olsen Equine CJF.
You got a couple pictures here, you kids, though. You guys were cruising.
No,
Oh, it's
it
a
was
full
the-
fossil there.
It was the ultimate trip. We went to 2 rodeos. Jamie won them both. And then we went to Disney World with our 4-year-old. It was just his birthday a couple days before. So we didn't have our oldest son Trace with us. He's 10, but he was on a fishing trip with his grandparents. So
Yeah. Oh, that's a good time.
it was a big time.
And then there was
Oh yeah. And then
this other run too,
oh yeah.
right?
Yeah. That was at,
This looks like
Okeechobee.
Kissimmee. Oh, this is Okeechobee. Okay. The Kissimmee was
Yep, the other
inside.
one.
Kissimmee's closer to Disney World for those that might not be familiar with the Florida landscape geography. But pretty, like, I don't see them all because they're behind my screen here right now, but like pretty similar runs. Are they not?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
similar-
They kind of look like the same run, really.
almost, eh?
What's funny though is, like, I mean, I guess we're just country dumb, but we like water, like, well, the big thing is, like, rodeo can be a lot of work and it can suck sometimes, but if you try to find the fun of it, and for families, like, see what's around the area, what can you do to enjoy your time there, kind of thing. So that Okeechobee is right beside Lake Okeechobee. So perfect. We're water people, right? So wonder where to go, what to do. Like, can we rent something cool type of thing? Thinking about jet skis, thinking about this, like a typical Texan or South Dakota. And it said, Lake Okeechobee is known for the largest alligators in the world.
Ooh.
And highest concentration too. So, like, okay, we're out on that.
Maybe no jet skis in Lake Okeechobee.
No.
Oh man. Okay, you said you want to finish the story about your motor coach.
Oh yeah. So the motor coach. So funny thing about that is, like, now it's like, oh, it makes total sense. Absolutely love that thing, right? But at the time, no one has them in the rodeo world. Literally no one. So they're supposed to be only 12 in America, and they're over in Australia and they're in England, but not very many here. Then we've always seen them online, but going full circle, I was asked to speak at the International Hoof Care Convention in Cincinnati, Ohio, which the first one that changed my life. I get to go back there and speak for a couple times now. I went there in 19, and then I went here a couple years ago. And while I'm there, I realized that this equine motor coach is just an hour down the road. So I call them and I said, hey, why don't you bring that up here and let me look at it? And they're like, oh yeah, great, because nobody's buying it. So they bring it up, and I'm in downtown Cincinnati at the convention center, right? And I'm thinking about, it's a cool idea, but I get in and I drive it all in these city streets, and this thing's amazing. Like, it's got an engine brake on it that would make your exhaust brake feel like a toy. Like, the lowest setting is probably twice as good as any pickup I've been in. So if you touch the brakes when you're driving it, you either A, messed up, or B, you're at a stoplight. Like, it'll just, so safe. And it's got a huge motor in it. It's got a 600 horse Cummins in it. Easy to drive. It's 6-speed Allison transmission. And then it's got this big old air ride captain seats in it.
Oh dang.
So I'm driving it, and I'm thinking, I know I'm buying it. I just don't know how yet. So I've bought and sold a lot of things in my life, and I have a great relationship with my bank. Normally how it goes is I call them and I said, hey, this is what I'd like to do. They're like, yeah, sounds great. Literally every time. Yeah, sounds great. So I call them about this and ask them about financing. They're like, and this is when all the rates went crazy. They're like, well, the best we can give you is 6%. And to be honest, we don't even want to do it anyway. And normally I would get under 2% with them. Like, they were amazing. They always took good care of me, and they liked me. I thought, man, that sucks. Can you imagine financing 350,000 at 6% when you're used to like under 2? Oh my gosh, made you want to puke. So I'm praying a lot about it. It's like maybe the reason why there isn't a lot of these in the rodeo industry is because they suck. Maybe there's something that
Yeah.
I'm missing.
Or they're too expensive and nobody wants to finance them.
Right. Yeah, maybe that's it. Right. So anyways, I don't want to get too far into the details on this, but I'm praying hard about it. And ultimately, someone financed it for me and gave me 2% interest on it.
Oh.
So yeah, because when I was praying, I was like, Lord, I need a clear path for my simple mind to understand that this is what I'm supposed to do. And there is more to it, but I'll leave it at that. Like it was a huge blessing. And the only bad thing about it is that everywhere we go, people are so bold. Like they walk up to you, and they're like, gosh, dang, that thing's nice, is what some people say. But then the other people are like, wow, look at these people, and you shouldn't care about what people think, but it's kind of hard not to. I purposely park in the back. A couple times I made a mistake and parked by the main road, like where people walk up. And I mean, I'm glad to have it and I'm very thankful, but it definitely doesn't go unnoticed.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, speaking of what people think, I had a question about other farriers and what I wrote down was most farriers probably don't want to share all their secrets. I want to say that it's a little bit of a I'll let you speak to it here, but I'm wondering what the thoughts are with the other people in the industry with how many things you're putting online, all the videos, and kind of sharing these inside pieces to the business and training people. Because, for so long and maybe, and I think still probably everybody's kind of an owner operator and you're cutting into his business because you're sharing these secrets or you're sharing this info. And, speaking of what people think, I'm wondering what that's been like for you.
Well, what a great question. And that's something that I think all of us have considered if you're talking about sharing information. But, like growing up in the cowboy lifestyle, the rodeo lifestyle, people help people. And I know it's not true that all people are good, but you want to assume that people are good. So I've always wanted to help people, I guess is what I'm saying. And the thing that I've answered my selfish self with when I start wondering about, man, you're giving away trade secrets. You had to pay for this. What are you doing giving it away for free? You had to work your butt off to get this. How come they get it for free? And here's the point. When you get somewhere, you're supposed to reach back and lift someone else up. And that's what I try to do. And another thing is it pushes me to keep getting better. Like you're either going forward or you're going backward. You're not hovering anywhere. I truly believe that. So when it comes to giving out information, you just have to look for the next thing. Yeah, you gave away all your secrets. Yes, I'm certain there's people that have watched what I do and taken horses from us and charged half price. And I'm certain of that, actually. But you know what? That's on them, not on me. And at the end of the day, I feel like God wants me to help people too. So I'm good with it. And if it helps the horse, then it's a win. But here's the other thing. On social media, if you don't take anything else from this podcast, think about this or write it down. You either are the product or you pay for the product. That's 100% fact. So what happens is that I give out all this free information, right? And then I charge my sponsors to be a part of it. So am I giving it away for free? Actually, no. So it goes two ways. At the end of the day, you're helping people and helping horses. It's a win, but I am a big fan of getting paid for what you do and what you know.
Well, so for those wondering, they can find you Olsen.equine. Olsen, if you are just listening, it's OLSEN.equine. That's on Instagram. Olsen Equine CJF on YouTube. tons of resources, almost 200 videos there. Facebook, your Olsen Equine CJF, located in Brock, Texas. But for those, I think this is more for the education side. But if people want to come learn, they can come learn from you, right? Like you've got clinics happening pretty often. There's the apprenticeship program. Like if somebody wants to learn shoeing, they can call you and get it done, right?
Yeah. So I kind of cut back on the clinics. I used to do a lot, but my last one I did was in Maui, actually. That was a lot of fun.
Not a bad place for that.
Not a bad place. A vet actually, we were going there to see some friends, and then a vet that I've worked with before asked me to do a clinic there. And man, it was so fun. But just like I got tired of people hurting my reputation because they worked for me, well, the same thing happens at clinics. So someone comes to your clinic, and just because you gave them 2 or 3 days of knowledge, that's huge. The problem is that they don't stop. They stop there. Now they've got it figured out. Now they're worked under Lee Olsen, where that kind of burned me, and I haven't really done any more. But with that said, I've been wanting to do more clinics and wanting to do them here at the shop, but I just kind of got a bad taste in my mouth about that. But the way I look at education is that it's a constant daily thing. Going to one clinic doesn't define me. It helps me, shapes me, but onward and upward. With that said, where can people find me? I'm starting a new podcast called The Lee Olsen Show. And the whole point of that is there's a blood, sweat, and blessings portion to where I just highlight people's stories on people that have done cool things that are take care of their family and patriots and just the kind of people that we need. But I think everybody's got a story that got there, that of how they embraced the suck, how they got through something. And that's what we try to highlight there. And then the other thing is there's one of the best veterinarians in the world, Brad Jackman, and I do a series where we go over common lamenesses with horses and just problems. And it's so fun. He's so knowledgeable, and it's just a way of helping people with their horses. And then I do a lot of business stuff that I put on there as business tips, because I really think that all the things that I get asked to do at conventions and speaking engagements, they're not horseshoeing problems or people problems or self-employed problems. It's all the same thing.
Lee, you've said it all here, but if there's one final thought you could leave everybody with, what would it be?
I would tell everybody that no matter what your situation is, if it's really bad, I'm sorry, but it's your time to shine. If you're unhappy, I'm sorry, but you're the only person that can save you. No one's coming to save you. If you don't like where you live, move. If you're not a tree, you can go anywhere you want to. If where you live sucks, there's someplace you'll like better. But one thing you need to check is your attitude. It might not be where you live that sucks. It might be your attitude that sucks. So if you're unhappy, you need to diagnose why. Are you hanging out with the wrong people? Change it. If you don't like your job, change it. If people won't pay you like they wouldn't pay me, then get better and then make people pay you what you're worth. So many people want to charge what I charge and make people bring their horses to them. Well, that's a result. The thing is I spent a lot of time doing things that I didn't want to do to get to where I am. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in, there's things you got to do. You got to get better. You need to work out. You need to study. You need to do things that other people aren't doing to get things that they don't have.
Lee, I got a couple more things before we wrap it up here, but tell me what your why is.
My why is pretty simple, really, I guess. I'm one of the people that need to be in pursuit of something. And some of the worst times in my life was when I made the most money or when I got what I wanted. So I really enjoy helping people. And I think God wants us to do whatever our gift is. And I think mine is helping people in horses. So that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm starting a podcast, because I can reach the masses that way. And it's a terrible idea, really, financially. It's going to take a lot of time. It's not going to make very much money. I'm not really selling a lot of products. So it's truly because helping people brings me a lot of personal satisfaction. And I believe that's me doing my gift.
One of the questions we ask everybody is what their definition of cowboy shit is.
Oh, man, that could go so many ways. So I grew up in the fourth poorest county in America, like I said, and big ranches. So
In the northwest part of South Dakota, is that correct?
yeah, I grew up on a 10,000 acre ranch, and everybody had them that big. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's like Dances with Wolves. If you ever seen that, the grass pastures, that's where I grew up. So things can get pretty ranchy pretty quick there. So my definition of cowboy stuff, man, I just think of, I don't know. So I used to ride a lot of bucking horses, and you know how like in Texas, like if you don't play football, they look at you funny, you know?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
You know, like Friday Night Light stuff. Well, if you didn't ride broncs where I was from, they kind of looked at you funny, you know, like how come? What's wrong with you, kind of thing. Because we Canada raised some of the best bucking horses in the world around us and had some of the best bronc riders. So it's kind of like what you do what you do. But you're thinking about cowboy stuff. So I remember being out of Brandon, and I was riding this horse that bucked with me all the time. But it was just one of those things that never bothered me because he'd bucked me off more than bucking horses have. And this calf got out, and he's running as fast as he can run. And I run him down, and I just lean out, and I just rope him around the neck. And as I do, this horse sucks back, and I go shooting over top of him, and I can see his ears between my legs. And I remember thinking, this is not going to be good. So that ended terribly, but I bounced really well, and I got back on, and it was a good day. So when you're wondering what I think of, I don't know why. That's what I thought of.
How'd you feel the next day?
Well, good, but I mean, it happened all the time. I mean, it was on grass pasture, which is pretty hard. But I know I did get bucked off here about a week ago or so, and I'd hate to get bucked off at 39 like that. I might still be laying there.
Well, thanks for joining us here this on the show, Lee. Once again, you can find Lee Olsen and all of his assets, Olsen Equine CJF on YouTube, Olsen.equine on Instagram. You are on the TikTok and the website as well, Olsen Equine, olsenequine.com, right?
Don't forget about the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And the brand new podcast, The Lee Olsen Show. I think did I have any help in helping you name that in Fort Worth? We talked about what you wanted to call it. And I just called The Lee Olsen Show.
I think meeting you just changed my life, and I don't think I'll ever be the same.
I was wondering though, didn't we talk about that in Fort Worth? You were trying to name it.
Yeah, we did, and I was just curious your opinion of it. And I really hesitate to name it the Lee Olsen Show, but that's what Justin McKee said, a mutual friend of ours, and just kind of like you said, he goes, "You can call it whatever you want, but when I tell somebody about it, it's Lee Olsen Show."
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Well,
but no, you gave me a lot of good input, and really enjoyed this and love your podcast. And for those of you that don't know about this show, how many stores do you have your stuff in?
Oh, our cowboy shit stuff? Over 100 and some in North America, yeah.
That's awesome. You're in the stockyards in Fort Worth too, right?
Yeah, Sassy Pants down there in the stockyards. They got some of our stuff there. Natalie and the crew, so pretty awesome.
What a good fit.
It's been fun. Awesome. Well, thanks, Lee. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, you bet. Is it wrong to say God bless America on a Canadian show?
Our viewership is half American.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
awesome.
So you can say that if you want. That's your tagline.
It is actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Once again, thanks for doing the show with us, Lee.
Yeah. See ya. Have a good day.
That's where you're supposed to say God bless America.
And God bless America.
Late night, wide awake, laying here alone. 1 o'clock on the dial when I out and she ain't picking up a phone. Well, a couple hours later, get a call from her saying that she'll be home in the morning. Says she's staying with some friends for the night and she's alright, but drank way too much to drive home. I should have known better.
Well, thank you to our guest, Lee Olsen. He was a great interview, great farrier.
Yeah.
And thank you to
A lot of
Matt,
fun.
the intern, for stepping in and filling in for me on this one.
Yeah. Good work, Matt.
Yeah, good work. But good show, a good week. We're not going to derail the post part of the interview as we did at the top end of the
We'll
show.
try not to. It could
Um,
stuff could go a little sideways still, Dustin.
Yeah.
You never know.
but spring
Still
has
early.
sprung. Tomorrow is April's
nice.
Fool's Day. So,
Yeah. What's your best
Watch.
April Fool's prank ever, Dustin?
oh,
Because I know that you've been a bit of a prankster in your day. In fact, you were the subject of a prank just today in Calgary.
I was? Which prank?
Oh, dude, at the game.
Oh, yeah. Geez, yeah, I got
The
cake.
cake, you doughhead. I
If you
don't
follow the Calgary, if you follow the Calgary Wranglers American League hockey team,
Oh.
it was Blasty, the shirt I'm wearing. Blasty, the mascot's birthday today, his 1 year birthday.
Oh, that's cool.
So Harvey the Hound gave him a cake, and I was wearing a San Jose jersey. That's who they were playing, the Barracuda.
That was not a setup.
And I got in on the birthday cake celebration, and
Dipped your finger in there.
then I got
Just-
cake in the face. So yeah, it was a pretty viral clip today. But
What did it feel like to get a cake in the face? Is that your first time getting a cake?
It was
in the
my
face?
first time getting a cake in the face. Yeah,
Cake face virgin.
yeah, I licked myself clean. It was good. It was all whipped cream and chocolate. So
You said you were still sticky though. Did you have a shower after?
I
that?
did shower. Yeah,
You had to get the.
I had to get
the
home and
whipped cream
shower.
off.
Yeah. So that was fun to be the stand-in for that. The things you'll do for money in sports. That's all I got to say.
Did you get a? You didn't
Yeah.
get paid. No extra bonus.
I'm taking a day in lieu of for going in there and get cake in the face. That was cool. April's Fool's pranks.
Man, you gotta have some good ones.
Do you know what?
What do you got, Allie? Yeah. What's your
Yeah.
best one? One that had happened to you? Did you ever get pranked bad?
I
No.
did all the old, like, I did the saran wrap on the toilet bowl in my mom's bathroom.
Oh, did she fall for it?
Oh yeah.
what,
I did
what
that
did
one.
Devaney think of that? Did
She was not
hate it?
happy. I've got her a couple times. Another one.
There's some people that you can. What?
Oh yeah, when we did the Barney's, we did two at Barney's. The first one we posted was the biggest roller coaster in Canada was coming to Barney's, called Gigantocoastersaurus.
That
everyone
one was
believed
like
it.
actually legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You like made some almost news about it. didn't
We
you?
got called from Global Edmonton, and they're like, "Hey, we'd love to post a story about you guys bringing this roller coaster
Oh,
to
no.
Canada." And we're like, "That's a total prank." And the next one we did was the zebra.
What was their reaction when you told them that? When
Well,
you-
I think they were like, "How stupid are we? Like, this
probably
is
some intern.
this is
news
supposed to
intern.
be like a reputable news company." So we got him with that one, and then the next year,
You got the news. That's how bad it was.
yeah, we got the news. We got the
Oh,
news.
That's ultimate prank.
The next one, the next year was the zebra. I photoshopped a zebra in the pens, and the photo looked really good. Like it would look
Yeah.
really legit. And man, that summer, the amount of people that were like,
Where's the
where do we
zebra?
where do we find the zebra? And I'm thinking like, this is like really wild. And people like, well, no, you can, like, zebras aren't that uncommon. Like you can buy them at on unusual sales, and like
Yeah.
they'll survive up here. I mean, there's zebras at all the different zoos. So that one lived long because all that year people were asking where they go to see the zebra.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that one was
So-
a fun one.
Did you get any negative Google reviews because there was no zebra?
No, we didn't, luckily. But yeah, so that was a couple of the real good ones I've been a part of.
I can't
Oh,
imagine.
do you know what one of the funniest ones was I ever was part of?
Tell me it was Gator.
It wasn't, no, Gator wasn't involved in this one. So when I was in high school, I worked at the radio station in Stettler,
Yeah.
Q90 or Q91, Q14. And our newscaster was a guy named Dan Shabbat, who's passed away since, but he's a Frenchman. And he talked like this: Dan Shabbat, this is the weather. And so on April's Fool's Day, we did that. The CTRC came out and said that all news in Canada had to be bilingually broadcasted. So he did every news story half in French and half in English.
Oh no way.
The
Like fully translated.
Yeah, so he'd be like, in news today, Canadian Tire opening in Stettler, and then the next sentence of the news story was in French. So he was going back and forth, so you couldn't really follow the story.
Oh no.
And
Oh no, I thought like you meant he was translating it and like doing both.
No, yeah, he was just doing
One or the other.
Yeah, he said half the stories.
Oh no.
And so, remember, you're in Stettler, AM radio.
Nobody.
All
speaks
the old
French.
people who listen to the Trading Post are fucking livid. So the phone calls are pouring in like, we're never listening to this station again.
Oh
We're
no.
boycotting it. So we had to come on. We came on the 9 o'clock news and said it was an April Fool's prank. So we did that one my first year there. The next year I was there, I was back in April. Dan loved it because
So
he was very straight.
he was in on it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he was very much a
I
straight
thought you guys
shooter.
pranked the guy on the radio.
No, he was doing it. But everyone knew how like he was very
straight to the point.
straight to the point. He took his news very seriously. So I think that's what really sold it.
Oh.
So the next year, we're like, how do we top that? So we did a news story with Dan again that talked about at town council the night before, Stettler Town Council had passed parking meters in all the residential streets. And that was the news story we led with. The
In
mayor in
Stettler.
Stettler. So the
You didn't
mayor
know
at
the
the
mayor.
time was a lawyer. I think his name was like Jim Hunter, something Hunter. Anyways,
Oh dear.
he phones the radio station and he's like, whatever you guys are doing, you have to stop this. He's like, people are phoning me, losing their minds on me this morning about parking meters in their front of their houses.
Yeah.
So like the town Stellar was like blowing up the mayor's phone, going completely nuts about this story about parking meters in the
Some people just
residential
can't
lots.
take a joke.
Yeah.
eh?
So that was yeah, I guess I was part of two really fun ones at the radio station.
That's
That was really
impressive
cool.
to get the town. Like, does anybody check the fucking calendar? Just
I
like,
don't know.
hey, I wonder if this is legit or not.
Yeah, yeah.
Check your sources, folks.
The other really good one that I wasn't part of, but it was the radio station in Red Deer when they announced, and it actually kind of spread. It was when like things first started getting viral, like early
Awesome.
Facebook and online,
Yeah.
when they announced that Disneyland was opening in Sylvan Lake.
Mhm.
They'd bought a big section of the lake and they'd like shown a map where it was zoned,
Oh dear.
and like it was going crazy about Disneyland opening up.
Oh,
So
man.
yeah, I wonder if there's any other good ones. Oh, they did another one in Stettler once. When you drive through Stettler, you can take the bypass around. It's called Buttermilk Slough.
Yeah.
It's an old alkali lake.
By the Stettler Dodge.
Yeah, right by Stettler Dodge, right
Yeah,
across from Stettler Dodge.
Yeah.
So they did a story in there that
Pogo.
no, they did a story that there was a spa company from like Iceland or Greenland or somewhere in Europe had discovered that in that pond there was this like really rich moisturizing mud, and they were going to open a big like
A Nordic spa. There.
Nordic spa on Buttermilk Slough, and they published it. And like people were like, it was all the talk. And I'm like, what is wrong with people? They believe this.
Did you see anybody bathing in the mud in there? Was Jim from Stettler just
Yeah.
hanging out getting
Yeah.
his mud fixed?
Stop and get your oil change at Stettler Dodge and then just go across
Jump in to get to the little
and
spa.
get the spa. So yeah, there's some good
Oh,
April
man.
Fools stuff I've seen.
I've never been part of any of those. To be honest, like I've never been like we were in a prank household as a kid. Like it was never the thing. I'm deprived of the
I was always pulling shit on my mom.
prankery.
Yeah, I got a few. I won't talk about all of them on here because one that was probably a little sensitive to some people, but I made my mom cry and then attempt to beat me with one that I did. It was bad, but I won't get into it on here. But
Why not? What's
well,
on the back?
I'll save it for another day. But let's just say I put my mom every year. My mom is
Did
one
you
of
tell
those
you how
people.
to get like?
My mom is one of
Just
those
do it.
people.
You can't leave us
No,
on a
I'll
cliffhanger.
leave you on a cliffhanger.
No way.
I'll
You
cliffhanger it.
can't do it.
But my
can't
mom
do
is one of
that.
those people. Why she was so vulnerable is
Well, the
she's
thing
one
we
of
can
those
get with
people that can
pranks-
never wake up like instantly.
Oh.
She's like the fuzziest, groggiest person.
Oh,
Like if the fire alarm went off, it
It'd
would
take
take
her a
her a
while.
minute to check in and like, holy shit, I should get
I
out
gotta
here.
get out of there.
So I would get her like when she was vulnerable, first thing in the morning, right away, and hit her with something. And she'd always believe it because she was too fuzzy enough not to realize it. And yeah, I did a couple on her at work when we worked for the same company. Like I came blowing in the door and I told her that like one of our gas plants on fire or something. Like
Oh,
she
really?
gets up screaming. And oh, that was at Christmas. We did the fake lottery ticket.
Oh, really?
So we always do scratch and wins in our household. And you used to buy at Spencer's the fake lottery tickets that had the winner in them. So one year we stuck a fake one, a $50,000 winner in the bunch of her real ones.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there and everybody's at the kitchen table that afternoon scratching
Scratching away.
tickets. And all of a sudden she jumps up and she's like, oh my God. Oh my God. And me and my uncle know Ian,
Yeah.
know that it's fake.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, my mom hits the ground. She's on her knees and she's crying and she's looking up to the roof and she goes, "Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God." Like, this goes to show you how much $50,000 would have changed my mom's life at this point.
Oh wow.
She's like, "Oh my God, thank you." Oh my, and we're like, "What's going?" She's screaming, "Oh my God, I won." And she pulls out this $50,000 ticket and she's bawling and screaming and crying. And then we start laughing. And my uncle's like, "Look at the back, read the back." And on the back, it's like, "Gotcha, you've been pranked." She went ballistic.
Oh no.
I felt bad for her. I think she needed the cash at the time.
Oh no. Sorry, Dad.
So sorry, Dev, we got you. So
Oh no.
yeah.
Some
So
people
there's
are
some
more
pranks.
prankable than others.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a bit of a skeptic, so I think it'd be tough to be pranked.
I love
You
to
can try me.
Yeah. I like to prank people. I like to shock and awe people or surprise people, I
Fair.
guess.
Um,
I think Gator did some pretty good pranks in the day. And I don't know if he listens to this or not, but I did the old Kijiji prank on him. And I still think I've up until this
What did you-
moment, I put on Taylor Swift meet and greets. So I made a Kijiji ad and I said, "For sale." I said, "Hi, I did a girl's name. I'm fundraising for my school trip to Europe. And I've got 2 Taylor Swift tickets for Edmonton with meet and greets." This is probably like 8 or 9 years ago. So
Yeah.
it's not like
not like
crazy T
now.
Swift yet.
like now would be
But-
nuts.
And then I put Gator's phone number on it and email. And he got inundated like bad. And he was even like, and I was like, he's telling me about, he's like, "Someone's fucking with me." And I'm like, "Oh," I stick to this day until he hears this. I was like, "It was never me, man." I'm like, "I swear to you, I never did do it."
Oh,
So
no.
Gator, 10 or 12 years
God
later,
damn.
I'm admitting I did the Taylor Swift prank.
Oh,
But like, because it was my ad, he was messaging me on the ad
please
and was
stop.
like, "I'm taking legal action. Like, this has to end. Like, this
Oh,
has to
no.
stop." And I'm, of course, getting these messages. Then he's telling me, like, "Man, I'm like reaching out to this person and like they won't pull the ad." We'd have to get the number from him, how many people reached out, but it was
Oh my goodness.
it was a shit ton.
Oh man.
Sorry, Gator.
Oh, I wonder. We'll have to review that on the next show.
Yeah.
But I was the victim of that one time. Skylar McBride and Devin Maisie, who Devin was just on the show a while ago. We never talked about this. I kind of forgot about it. But he and Devin put my Monte Carlo up for sale on Kijiji, my car. I was literally driving it. They snapped a picture of it like we were parting ways for the weekend. And I all of a sudden just start getting phone calls and phone calls and phone calls about this car. I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, what are you? That's on my car." Like, "No, I'm not. No." Like, and it was like enough that I like got worried and I shut my phone off. I'm like, "This is freaking weird." But then another one that happened, like that one was bad and like eventually went away or whatever. But then the next one that was kind of funny, I think Jordan Hansen got his nut stepped on really bad and it was swollen up like humongous. Like his one testicle was gigantic and it was like black and blue and it looked kind of like an avocado. So they took a picture of his nutsack and put it on Kijiji and said "one slightly bruised avocado."
Oh, Jesus.
That one didn't get as many phone calls.
Oh,
but,
man.
that was somehow attached to my email. There's
Jesus.
avocados.
Well, I know Gator was famous for, I was just talking about like the trading post on the radio.
Oh, did he prank
He would
all the-
always phone in and sell other people's stuff. You remember Chris Rowland, the bullfighter?
Yeah.
He phoned in one time and said, "I've got a clown suit for sale." And whatever, and put Chris Rowland's phone number on. I think Chris like chased him around the shop. They used to work together and tried to beat him up. And then he used to sell our buddy Chris Janke's truck, all sorts of things. He'd phone in and do fake voices and sell his shit on there. So those were the days.
Oh, that's funny.
Those are the days.
Man, you know who else we could usually prank really well was Donnie Johansson.
Oh, yeah, Donnie?
Oh man. So well actually funny story, we were just in Phoenix the other day and drove the truck home and whatnot, but like I bought him and Jim matching shirts. Like we're at this golf tournament that had we had a credit, so I spent the credit and I got him and Jim matching shirts. So that was kind of fun. But Donnie, our friend in Lethbridge, Lacey O'Donnell, has the store Western Stockman, and she one time taped like tampons to his like back windshield wiper. That was a good one she had. And then there was another one where there's a sticker. She put a sticker on the van with 2 cowboys, like the stick people with 2 cowboys, like we were partners.
Oh, that's
and then
funny.
he didn't see them till we got home that like the next day. His Don's wife found them on the
Oh,
van.
that's funny.
She was like, "What is this one?" But then I always got Dawn with the. I always got Donnie with the car, like the van horn. He drove a van, and I always had I was the driver, so I had the keys, and I would press the panic button as soon as he would like go outside, and it would just
Scare the shit
honk.
out of
He
him?
would just jump like 3
Oh, that's
feet
the
in the
best.
air, and he
Well,
was
we-
always good that way.
We'd love to hear everybody's best pranks that
Yeah.
are out there. I think you could do a.
And Gator, I'm not gonna tell you where Dustin's new house is.
He's gonna try and get me back for this.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I don't think I told him. We'll find out.
That's funny. Anyways, thanks for listening this week.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I forgot we got new stuff.
Yeah.
New shit on the website, cowboyshit.ca. There's new stuff right now. There's more new stuff coming. It's on the way here soon as
Yeah.
well.
Breakaway stuff.
Yeah, Ad Breakaway as well. Campaign with Brad Wall is going right now too. So buy your
Get
shit.
your cowboy shit. Get your
shit.
ad breakaway shit. And
Yeah.
get ready for a big spring.
Yeah, and a really cool show coming up on the next episode of Cowboy Shit. We've got I'll sprinkle it out there. She's opening for Charlie Crockett in May here
Yeah.
in Canada. She's I think she's gonna be a big star. Nolene Hoffman on the next episode.
We had her live in Cowboy Shit Studios at the
studio.
headquarters with the guitar.
Yeah.
First ever live music performance on the show.
In the living room. Second
Yeah.
one in the living room. First
Second one
on the,
there, yeah.
First one recorded for the show that was in the daylight. The
That's
other
gonna
one
be
was
a
late night.
that was a fun show to do.
It's really cool.
And then a couple other good ones coming up. And we got some events coming up that we're gonna be
Yeah,
hitting.
it's true. You got Aggie Days with our editor Sean Morton.
Yeah, we're gonna be at Aggie Days. We have the tarp auction we're gonna check
Yep.
out.
and
and
then,
then you and me-
Masters.
Yeah. And then we're
Where are we
heading
going?
we're going to the bar night.
Oh yeah, that should be interesting too.
Yeah.
Then I might have to go judge a mechanical bull riding competition. I gotta get back to Wendy on that one too.
Oh, we
I
got
might have to go judge the bull
I'll-
riding competition. I gotta
yeah,
get
I'll tag in
I'll
for you.
work on it.
I'm
I gotta get it done.
on April 20th, Calgary Roughnecks. If you want to ride the mechanical bull, we got one
420.
there.
Yeah, that's what
April 20th,
right?
Western night. So come ride the
Yeah.
mechanical bull.
That'll be fun. And then I'll be
Yeah.
in Dawson Creek too, in Grand Prairie. But
friend of the
Dawson
show,
Creek
Dave
Spring
Paulson.
Rodeo. Yeah, with Dave. It'll be a fun weekend
Yeah,
too.
big April coming up.
Yeah, man. And then we're gonna go to Stagecoach too. I think
Sweet.
should be a
Come
fun
to
month.
come to the Roughnecks game this Friday, April 5th.
Yeah, the 5th.
Tiki
Yeah,
night.
Tiki night. Do I gotta wear like one of
You
those?
gotta wear a Hawaiian shirt
What's
and a
the?
grass skirt
Yeah, the
and a
those-
coconut bikini.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'll be
That's
in.
a
for that
visual.
one. I'll be there
Alright.
for that one.
See you at Tiki
Count
night.
me in. Okay. All right. Thanks for listening, folks.
Have you ever seen a burnt red sunset? Counted a couple million stars from a truck bed. Seen them all go out when the sky turns blue. Tell me, have you ever really been out where you can feel the wild wind blowing through your long hair? Seen a cold water river cut the mountains in two. If you ever want to, baby,